Now, when I was planning our last show of the year, that is 2021, because again, we're off next week for those of you who don't know, I thought, who would I like to chat with? Well, of course, Cecil Wright. We're going to wrap up, or we're going to do a sports wrap with Cecil, but else would I like to chat with in that last half hour? And I thought, I think it'd be Clinton Wilkins would be appropriate because I've had many conversations with Clinton Wilkins. He's just an excellent human being, quite honestly. He's our mortgage guru, and I work closely with him. We do a show, of course, that airs once a month on Saturday and Sunday here on City News 95.7, and it's just, a good quality guy. And so, Clinton, welcome to the show. I appreciate you very much.
You know what? I appreciate you, too. There's nothing more I'd rather be doing on Christmas Eve. I'm sure you're happy to be wrapping up the year. I know it's been a crazy year, and I have a little hound dog barking in the background. So
yeah, I've met that dog. I've met that dog.
She's a nippy little hound, but everybody needs a little bit of entertainment, and there's nothing better to be doing. I'm sure you'll be happy to be going home after the show.
Absolutely, and that dog actually wounded you this year. Remember, you had
Oh yeah, I definitely had a little injury. For those of you who know Dachshunds, I have a little long-haired Dachshund, and she goes to Dogtopia downtown. She's a good little girl, but you know what? Little Dachshunds have very sharp little teeth, so you have to be careful that they don't nip you. And this year I actually got nipped in the lip, so just like little razor blades.
What are some of your Christmas traditions? You're an Annapolis Valley boy. What are some of your and where tradition is runs deep? Do you have some traditions, Clinton?
Yeah, I definitely do. There were these special potatoes that my mom would make every year, and I don't even know really where the recipe came from. And as you know, Todd, my mom passed away in January of 2020, and you lost a parent recently too. So definitely challenging times. But she would always make these special potatoes, and we'd love them so much that we would just ask for them all the time, as kids. And even now, I'm still making the potatoes. They're probably the most unhealthy thing you could ever have. I'm pretty sure it's cream cheese and sour cream and butter, and they're baked. It's the best thing you could ever have. But I can tell you, even remember as a child, and I don't think children should probably get this, but I remember even as a child, we'd be getting heartburn probably because these potatoes were so rich.
Yeah. Good for the soul, though. That's called soul food, right?
Oh, definitely good for the soul. So they may be on the menu here this Christmas. I can tell you tonight we're actually going to be having some Chinese food coming from King Bo in Chester. Mm-hmm. We had that last year. We actually spent the Christmas in Chester. One of my clients and friends had bought a property down there, so we spent the Christmas in Chester. And this year I was actually supposed to be in Hawaii, but doing the responsible thing. As we know, lots going on here with COVID and Nova Scotia and really across the world. We're going to be spending the Christmas down in Kingsburg on Hurdles Beach. So a beautiful spot down here, and going to be having a little bit of Chinese food for Christmas Eve, which I'm pretty excited about.
Nice. Now I would describe you as a lot of people who are successful in business. You're an eternal optimist. Is that safe? Is that a apropos description of you, eternal optimist?
I think I have to be optimistic no matter, even when things feel like they are not going well. I can tell you, over the last, I guess we're going on 21 months now. There's lots of times where, I certainly felt the pressure, and I think I'm an optimistic person, even in the worst possible times. But, I think even during this period, there's been challenges. Even with my own mental health, I think it's probably come to the forefront that, not enough time off. What else do we have to do other than work? And I can tell you, thank goodness for mortgage lending, because I literally threw myself into it. Not that I wasn't super involved already. Todd, as you know, I wrote a book about mortgage lending. We do a show about mortgage lending. But there's nothing that I really did other than really help customers. And, I love it, but I think no matter what you do, and it doesn't matter how much you love it, you still need to have that break and that downtime. And I think a lot of us, we really haven't taken advantage of maybe the vacation time or the downtime that we could have had. for better or worse. And I really hope, and I'm really optimistic about 2022, that we'll all find a little bit of a better balance. I think it's going to be needed.
Yeah, absolutely, it's going to be needed. So what are your thoughts in general, I guess, looking ahead when it comes to the market, the economy, all of those driving factors? Housing has been absolutely on fire throughout the country here, and this has become affordability. Quite honestly, has become a real challenge and a real problem for too many people. And we had talked about when you were a kid and when I was a kid, certainly, and when I had the opportunity to get into the housing market at the right time. But that's now you talk about it. It's the Canadian dream, but it's become a fantasy for too many. What do you say about that whole part of this component to this whole thing?
You know what? It might be a nightmare for some. And I think that's what we also need to be kind of cognizant of. We certainly have clients that we've done pre-approvals for, and, they've made offers on 20 and 30 properties. Todd, that's really disheartening. Mm-hmm. And I really feel for first-time home buyers. We're pretty much to a point here in Halifax and kind of surrounding areas that, if you can't afford a property in the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 range, you're kind of priced a little bit out of the market. The one unique thing about Nova Scotia, though, if you go into more rural areas, there still are, properties that could be considered, affordable for a first-time home buyer. And, the challenge is that the price of real estate really has increased across all areas of Nova Scotia, even in the more rural areas. But I do think that first-time home buyers need to start looking at maybe homes that would be considered, really appropriate for first-time home buyers. I can tell you, even in the last couple of years, buyers are really looking more of that, premium real estate. And I think we're in an instant gratification culture. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think that you need that new construction home that has that, the granite countertops and the stainless steel appliances and all these things. That was really what the elite were buying maybe 10 and 15 years ago. And now I think first-time home buyers are kind of looking for that forever home. But, I remember when I bought my first property, Todd, and, it was nice, but it was $169,000 in Dartmouth. That doesn't so much exist today. Yeah. Do I think salaries are higher? Yes, but I'm not sure incomes have grown, concurrently to the home prices. So I think that, families are certainly going to help out more. We're certainly seeing a lot more gifted down payments. We actually sent out an email earlier this week. I don't know if you got it, Todd, or not, but we sent out an email to all our clients, all our leads, everybody that was in our system, talking about what better gift to give this holiday than a gifted down payment. Now, I know not everyone is in that situation where the family can help out, but in other markets like Toronto and Vancouver, that's the norm. It's this family wealth and how can it be shared. And I think in this market where a lot of first-time home buyers, their parents have benefited by this increase in the property value. It's grown their net worth. So I think we're going to see a situation where potentially parents are going to leverage their homes if they don't have the available cash to maybe help out with a down payment to get their kids into the housing market. As you know, it's one of the best ways to kind of grow a family's net worth. And, I think that, property values are still going to increase. The economists are saying, even though we've seen a really high increases in 2020 and 2021, they think 2022 we're still going to see kind of those increases. So, okay. We may be in a situation that, it may be a buy now or buy never. So I think that it's going to be working out, how can we make that happen?
Clinton, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff, and talk in the new year.
Yes, talk in the new year, Todd. I'm looking forward to it. And, happy holidays to all our listeners here on City News 95.7 here in Halifax. And, we have some exciting news that's happening here in January, and I'm sure we will be announcing that very soon.
All right, take care. Talk soon. Clinton Wilkins.